Yeah, good day, day 34, Saturday, 28th of December, 2024. I am going to post the one I recorded first later because I noticed that the first part has been cut off. I don't know, maybe I didn't press record or something. So I'm going to be recording it, then I will join it together with the first one. I hope that makes sense. Mm, Talking about trauma that I talked about yesterday, defining it properly, I realized that that's just one definition out of many definition options. And trauma could also mean the events, could also mean those catastrophic events that could happen. And there are different kinds of trauma. The first one is the normal kind of, which is the acute. That's like one event that could have, of course, a lasting impact, but it's a one-time kind of event, like maybe an accident, maybe just as in just once. It happens just once, and it gets. And the second type of it is chronic kind of trauma, and the chronic kind of trauma means one event happening over and over and over, becoming a norm, like domestic violence, like verbal abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse. One chaotic event happening as a norm till it norms your self-esteem, you get, till it norms who you are, and it makes you become like nobody. It makes you feel like you don't know your worth again. It's like being in a relationship, and when you first entered, the first kind of event or abuse seemed strange to you, but over time you started assuming that maybe I should build resilience, maybe I should build my shock absorber. Maybe I'm the one overthinking it. After all, they said that there is no perfect relationship, maybe friendship, romantic, kind of whatever kind of friendship. So maybe this is my own cross to bear. I don't know want to talk about it to anybody. I might be talking to somebody that wants to collect my friend. You know, this kind of, you get, coping mechanism kind of mindset, thinking that what you're trying to get angry about or consider to leave, someone is dying to have it. And because of that, you keep getting abused in silence, you keep allowing stuff, and the day it will boomerang, the day it will backfire, it will backfire in a crazy way. You would respond to it, you would have been sulking, self-esteem sulking, everything about you sulking. Then by the time you want to open your eyes to see what you have done to yourself, it might be too late because you might end up hurting yourself. There's a lot. Then the third one is the complex kind of trauma that's interwoven different kind of nonsense. Financially, you're experiencing it in every area, you're experiencing it. And I continue from there in the second part I'm going to be sharing. But something came to my mind. Trauma is when Adam shifted blame to Eve. Trauma is when Eve shifted blame to the serpent. Trauma was when God said, I repent, I created man. Like, God has thought about what men have been doing, and it is in totality against the mandate, the reason why God created man. They have so frustrated God that God said, I regret creating man. Trauma is when Abraham and Sarah could not get child, and they could not get children, and Sarah felt, okay, let my maid come into you, and maybe I can bear children from her. And when a guy started misbehaving to to her boss, because God has answered her and she got pregnant, started having issues in the house. Trauma is when a guy, Aga, got out and she was crying. Yeah, she was crying that, okay, I knew that I was a slave. She was a slave. They got her pregnant, but because they felt she's now the bondwoman, they sent her out. The child had to grow wild. He didn't grow under the confines of her father, under the father's roof, even though Abraham was not happy with it. But he had to obey his wife because God said so. That's his trauma. Trauma is when, because Rachel was Jacob's, that was who he wanted to marry. That was his heart's cry. But because Laban, his father, apparently father-in-law and uncle, duped him and said they don't marry firstborn after secondborn here. And it's not as if it was a rule. It was just a way to maneuver Leah to get married, because nobody was coming for Leah because of the way they described her body structure. She was frail, pale, and whole. Both could be described as a sickle cell patient these days. I'm just trying to imagine. So it did start from him. It started from Isaac and Rebecca, when, because Rebecca got a revelation about the children in her womb, and she didn't poise further. She didn't poke further to know what to be done. She just decided to fulfill it out of her mind, and she did whatever she felt was okay. So trauma kept multiplying, and the reason why Esau married people that he married was to spite his parents, not necessarily because he didn't know that God has given them the order not to marry from such places. Trauma, any discussion that you don't have, okay, let's just leave that for the next video. And you get it keeps expanding. It kept expanding. It moves to the children of Jacob. It was glaring that Jacob loved Joseph, and in extension Benjamin, but because Joseph was the firstborn of his really beloved wife, it was glaring that he pampered him, and it angered the remaining brothers. They were having some history around them. They were saying that actually you are the son of Leah's maid. That's Bilal, I'm trying to remember their maids. They gave Liam a maid, they gave Rachel a maid. So both of them, all of them had children for the same husband. And there will be abuses, there will be counterparts, there will be arguments amongst themselves, times without number. There will be cliques, there will be, but because their common enemy in quotes was Joseph, they had to, even though they were still divided in their opinions, it was some parts of the division that sold Joseph. Because as recorded in the Bible, Reuben wanted to go back and save him from the pit. So you can see that everything was scattered. So that is what traumatic experiences can cause. And when you don't have difficult discussions, over talking at times, you over pleasing, you trying to say what you're not asked, you trying to do everything to be in a clique just to fulfill all righteousness for self-esteem and to belong when you're not loved at all. Most of these children were not loved at home. Delilah was not counted as part of the children of Israel. It is so pathetic that even in Bible quiz, when they ask how many children does Jacob have, we hear 12 sons. And that's a lie. He had children. He had 13 children. So you can see that this celebration of women, it has started since. And it's just the case of Judah, Tamar, was it Tamar now? That Judah was trying to dupe, because almost all his sons were dying when they were sleeping with her. He deceived her to go back to her own father's house, and by the time she noticed that they were deceiving her, she plotted a game to sleep with Judah, and she had to bear a child. So all these things were trauma extended, even in the Bible. Trauma extended. Just think about it. Even David was the last born. We never know if this was a child of an harlot, or he was just, because the way he was abandoned, did he enjoy motherhood love, motherly love, and all that. All those mistakes he made. And note, for every mistake you made, there is still repercussion. There is still repercussion for them. That is why you need to take healing serious, because It won't be seen that because you were drinking to cater for your trauma, the effect of it will show later too.